It's unusual for students to appear before the school committee to comment on issues.
The decision to add emailing sites to this list with little notice or explanation has left my peers and I with many questions.
But after a half dozen of them spoke at last Wednesday's meeting, the school committee overturned a proposed ban to block access to personal email accounts such as Yahoo and Google Mail.
So how well-intentioned it may have been, it's wrong. Now,
Several weeks ago, IT Administrator Patrick Majois sent out an initial email about the ban. Assistant Superintendent for Administration Anne-Marie Carr-Reardon sent another email on February 14th stipulating that the ban would become effective on February 21st. It was intended to prevent students from accessing personal email accounts on Waltham High School's internet connection, but it had some unanticipated consequences.
If my email account had been blocked then, I would not have been able to submit my electronic portfolio, which would mean that my application would not have been complete for that college.
It also puts excess stress on the system if we're forcing all of our students to use the school emails rather than, say, Google.
New regulations do not foster the same environment where I have grown into a responsible young adult.
According to Carr-Reardon, the goals of the ban were to reduce vulnerability to viruses, comply with the Child Safety Internet Act, and reserve network use for educational purposes only. She said that only 2 faculty members raised it as a concern and that she was unaware of the student resistance prior to the school committee meeting.
It wasn't raised as a big issue or red flag issue to me in any other fashion until this evening.
School committee members chided Carr-Reardon for making a policy decision without consulting the committee, faculty, and students first.
I'm deeply troubled that any communication, whether it was the errant one or the corrected one that went out, was not shared with us.
There is a valid reason for doing what they're doing. It hasn't been executed in the proper fashion.
A number of sites such as YouTube and Facebook are already restricted at Waltham High School. Carr-Reardon corrected a misconception among some students that the measure was proposed to prevent bullying.
It was never intended to be that at all.
Currently, all teachers and 6th to 12th graders have a Microsoft Outlook email address commonly referred to as K-12. Users must agree to usage terms and the account is accessible over the web. Some students told Waltham Newswatch they prefer to use web-based email accounts to submit work because they are more advanced and less likely to crash than K-12, and they can continue to use those email accounts after graduation.
In an effort to produce technologically literate citizens, we must give them the responsibility to manage their own email, as is expected after high school.
For Waltham Newswatch, this is Chris Wangler.
University for one semester, in which the students